what should I expect if I was to list my home today?
What you can expect is, paying attention to two things. One is going to be pricing. We just actually analyzed the stats for Queens, and we saw, which we think could be off. MLS sends out the stats every month of, how many months of inventory we have on the market. And it seems that between March and April, the amount of inventory spiked in Queens. It went from like a 7.5 month supply to almost I believe it was a 30-month or 24 to 30-month supply of homes in a month that we haven't been working. So we're actually talking to a fellow coworker, and he's going to be checking with LIBOR to see if those numbers are accurate. Helen and I both think those numbers are not accurate. So if we look at the month of March, where there was about 7.5 month supply of homes, so therefore anything over 6 months is going to be a buyer's market. So anytime it's a buyer's market, it just says to us that there's an increase in inventory. And we expect as this pandemic, dies down and we get back to normal, we do expect a lot more inventory on the market. So whenever we have competing listings, it's going to be important that you price competitively, that your motivation is there, that you have a reason to sell, and we have to make sure the property sticks out from the rest of the competition. So that's one thing to watch, is going to be pricing and our levels of inventory. And each pocket is different, each neighborhood is different, so it's important to really hone in on absorption rates in the particular neighborhoods, as well as absorption rates, in competing. Because back in the day, people used to, for example, if you were looking in Whitestone, you were just honed in Whitestone. Nowadays, people are looking, if you're looking in Whitestone, you're probably going to look into Beechhurst, Flushing, perhaps Douglaston, Bayside, Little Neck. So you have to look at not only absorption rates in Whitestone, but absorption rates in Northeast Queens. So you have to go a little bit more in depth. The second thing to watch is going to be how quickly lending loosens up. So right now, there's reports that the jumbo market is gone. So I believe anything, so conventional loans are probably around 610 to 620 in that ballpark. Low sixes is going to be your conventional loan. So if you're putting down 20%, roughly between 700 to 750 purchase price with your 20% down is going to keep you in that conventional mortgage amount, which those loans are still going on strong and can be done. When we go above, when we say we're looking at $1 million home, then we go into with 20% down, then we're going into jumbo loans. And that market has completely gone away at the moment, as well as any other kind of exotic loan, whether it's something like the no income check loan. So if these programs do not come back for a while, we could potentially face a lending issue where people would have a trouble, to find the outlets in order to get the financing needed to purchase these more expensive homes, or somebody's going to have to come in with higher down payments, more than your 20%. So, for example, on a $1 million purchase, maybe someone to get into that conventional pricing is going to have to come in with 30 to 40% down in order to get that conventional loan, if that conventional loan is the only loan program out there. So besides pricing, we're going to have to see where the mortgage market stands. And hopefully that will start to loosen up more so than it is currently. And that will help, move the higher end homes as well.
Okay, which those are numbers that you guys are always taking a look at.
We're always staying on top of, we always like to be the economist of choice. That's why we're always listening to the news, reading the articles, staying on top of the latest, of what's going on in the real estate industry. So right now, things to watch are going to be our levels of inventory. We have spoken to a lot of people who've just said, we want to sell. We do. We have our plans in place. We're retiring or we want to get out of New York. They're just waiting, until we're allowed to physically show homes. We're able to show homes virtually, which is awesome, which is a great to have this option in this current environment. But at the same time, you know, it's a big change for most. And when you're buying a seven, eight, $900,000 home, um, a lot of people need to see it in person. And so therefore, a lot of homeowners are saying, let me hang tight and just wait till things reopen so people can make that educated decision, as they once did, which was in person versus virtually.
Nice, which can is completely understandable. One thing is purchasing, little knickknacks from Amazon.com, that
Right.
come home and you can look in the box and return it. You can't do the same thing with a house, right? So
We always say, right, when it comes to house purchases, it's not buying, you're not buying a sweater. Sweaters, like you just said, Amazon purchases can always return those things. This is the biggest purchase of someone's life. So a lot of people need to see in person, to touch, to feel, it's great the virtual tours can help narrow things down and they can make their list a lot smaller. You don't need to see 20 homes, 30 homes. Maybe you can see 5 or 10 homes, but you're probably going to need to see that in person.
which really is a benefit to the sellers too, because now they don't have strangers, especially with today's market, right? Imagine that New York was completely open right now. A seller doesn't want 10, 15 strangers to come into their house at once with the way things are.
Correct. And this is not, even when we're allowed to go back to work, this is not something that's going away. This is not something that's going to be, poof, vanish, gone for good. This is going to carry on for a while. So we're all taking the extra precautions with the face mask, whether it's gloves or booties on the shoes, or making sure, if it's a vacant home, doing things, that we can keep our buyers safe and our sellers safe. Because at the end of the day, if it is an occupied home, say the seller steps out for the showing, but that buyer has just taken a tour of the home in person for 5 or 10 minutes, 20 minutes, we want to make sure that the lights are on, all the doors are open, that nobody has to physically touch anything. And it's also going to be things where we want to make sure that the actual purchaser is going to see homes. I know when my parents, purchased a home back in the day, my sister and I were very young. They didn't take us to go see the property. You know, we've seen a lot go on lately where people bring their, kids who are not the purchaser. People are going to have to get the babysitter or, leave one parent in the car with the kids while the first parent goes to see the property and take turns, because everybody needs to just be safe. And if you're not the purchaser, you probably do not need to see the home, and take the tour in person, and have to really think about your safety first and your health first.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things you guys hold the most important to you guys is making sure everyone's safe. and
Look, as long as we have our health, we can do a lot. We want that for everybody, buyers, sellers, vendors, colleagues, you know, stay healthy, stay safe, and that will allow us to do our job the right way.
Yeah, and you're saving everyone's time with these virtual showings. The
Yeah.
buyers, the looky loos, they're not coming by. They're not, potentially getting anybody in danger because they're just looking at it from home. The ones that are more serious, those are the ones that are going to want to see the house at some point.
Without a doubt, like what we're starting to do, we have the professional photography, which is like the slideshow. But then we have the slideshow, and then we're also doing the tour, the virtual tour of us talking about the house. We're able to set up, Google Chats or FaceTimes or Zoom calls. If people want us to schedule an individual showing to learn more about the property. So there is a lot of homework that can be done ahead of time before scheduling that appointment, before making an offer. That we definitely encourage people to do their homework and utilize this. Like We're trying to do and paying for floor plans to be done. So if people, spend time looking at the floor plans, you're going to get an idea for the size of the rooms and the square footage of the house to see if it's suitable for your needs. And things like Google Earth, you're able to take the bird's eye view of the property to see where it's located, if it's behind a commercial building, behind a school, if it's mid-block, whatever the case may be. We encourage buyers to use technology to their advantage, so you can save your own time, you can watch out for your health and your family's health first. And if it's something that you really want to see, let's schedule the virtual showing first, and let's go from there. We understand everything's a process. Let's use technology to our advantage and make this process as seamless as possible. Like our slogan says, moving across town, across the country, or around the world, we make moving easy. And here's how we can make it easy, even more easy, with all these great technology tools that are at our disposal. And what's great about our technology, one of the coolest things that KW just released to us, besides they released to us in the beginning of the year, our new mobile app. And what differentiates our mobile app from all the mobile apps that are out there, you're able to search by things like school district. You can't go on Zillow's app or Redfin's or whatever, and search by school district. You're able to search by school district on our app. And what they just rolled out a couple of days ago is the ability to schedule a virtual showing online, just directly through the app. So you could be, driving around the neighborhood, just trying to get fresh air, following the CDC guidelines, and then you can just pull up the app, be able to say, wow, this looks interesting, and just click a button and schedule that virtual showing online. It'll go directly to myself or Helen or one of our team members. So that's absolutely amazing. We encourage everybody to download our Keit Team app. I believe it's www.keitteamapp.com, or Dave will plug it in on the bottom of this, for all you to see out there to download. Sorry I didn't have that handy, but at the same time, we've been using this for a while. I use it personally. I always like to know, and even if you're not looking to buy or sell, you're just curious to know what neighbors are doing. When you drive in your neighborhood, you see a sign on the front lawn, and you're curious, what are they selling that house for? Download our app. Works anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I know when I was out of the country a couple months back, we used it. We were very curious to see what real estate is. Everybody's always curious to know what homes are selling for, no matter where they are. And this is, they use the GPS locator, so it can be while driving around, or while you're out at the beach, if you plan to go to the beach this weekend, or if you're sitting on your couch and you're bored, use the advanced search feature to search by zip code. If you're just curious to start your home search process. But the Keit Team app is definitely going to be a key feature to help you start with your home search process, or even your home sale process, to know what other homes in the neighborhood are selling for, and you can find it at the link below.
Perfect. So I think that is definitely a good way to end. I just want to make sure that they also know that the buyer and seller guide are inside of that app, so they'll know every step of the way.
Great point. And that's a key feature that Keller Williams has for us, is if you want to know what's involved in the process. It's not like, buyer goes, sees a home, makes an offer, then what? Seller, signs the listing agreement, then what? Definitely check out our buyer and seller guides for all those steps of the way on our Keit Team app. And as always, follow us on our business page on Facebook, the Keit Team, and on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Keit Team on YouTube. And as we approach Memorial Day weekend here, hope everybody stays safe, stays healthy, continues to practice the social distancing guidelines. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ross.
Thanks, Dave.